You are our coach today, and we are asking you the question, what are the benefits of barefoot running for a triathlete? Now, I know barefoot running is a big thing for you. It is actually something when you came on as a TriDot coach and we were forming the Mark Allen edition, we actually added barefoot running as a drill into the TriDot app just because you're such a big fan of it. So tell us about it. Why are you such a proponent with your athletes of running barefoot from time to time?
Yeah, there's a few things that you can do when you do barefoot running. I mean, one of the main benefits is that it gives you a sense of how to do a stride length that's actually absolutely perfect. So, for example, you can go to a running track and take your shoes and socks off and just run one lap barefoot. And you'll notice that when you do that, you'll land exactly on your midfoot. You won't overstride. You won't land on your heel and put on those brakes like, a lot of triathletes overstride and they land on their heel, and you don't actually start to accelerate until you get over your midfoot. Barefoot running, you will land right on your midfoot. You'll land lightly and you'll get off your foot very quickly. It will be like the perfect drill to do to start to get that sensation of, this is how those good runners feel when they run. Not that you're not a good runner, everybody out there, but
Sure.
This is what them feel. You only need to do one lap. And you do that, get that sensation of how your body's feeling, how your feet are landing, how your stride length has changed, and then put your shoes and socks back on, and then try to recreate that when you're running with your shoes. Just doing that simple drill once a week, twice a week will really transform your running and make you a lot more efficient. So that's one of the cool things I like to have my athletes do, just to kind of get that sensation of the perfect stride length. A second thing that you can do is to one of the benefits anyway of running barefoot is you can just go again on the track in kind of the infield area there with grass or turf, take your shoes and socks off and just do some strides going back and forth, sort of easy in the beginning and accelerating up to maybe, kind of a moderately fast pace in those 100 yards, 100 meters. And just doing that 10 or 15 times once a week or twice a week, it will work those fine muscles in your feet that actually with a shoe on, you don't work them. You kind of like clog along, and even though you feel like you're running and you're using your foot, you're not. So when you take your shoes off and you run barefoot, you actually work these muscles in your feet that stabilize your feet. They give you a sensation of balance that you don't get when you have a shoe on. And then when you do put your shoes back on, you will feel like, I have a better feel of the ground when I hit it. I have a better feel of my foot working or not working. So they're simple, such simple drills to do. I'm not saying go out and run, 2 hours without your shoes. That will kill you, right?
Sure.
But to just do these simple little drills that you're running for just a couple minutes without your shoes on.
Yeah, it's curious. A couple times in my triathlon history, just on and off, I've had some kind of metatarsal pain right on the underside of the foot. From just running the track, pounding on that pavement. And when I feel that pain kind of coming on, I've kind of done exactly what you're talking about. I've just taken my shoes off and maybe after a session, before a session, just kind of gone back and forth, did some strides on the infield grass of the football field next to the track. I've never taken my shoes off though and run a lap on the track. Do you recommend that regardless of the surface of the track? Is that okay to do on pavement, concrete, rubber, whatever that track is? Or would you recommend us kind of being right to the side of the track on the grass for that?
It depends on how sensitive your feet are.
Okay.
If you have a little toughness on the feet, then run on the track. Otherwise, for sure, run on the grass, because that artificial surface can be kind of rough. The other side of that, though, is because it is so rough, you will land very lightly on your feet. You're not going to come down and pound on it. But if it's too much, then for sure run on the infield and go around on the grass, and you'll get that same sensation of landing right on that midfoot, having a very light strike, and then getting off of your foot very quickly.
How often, Mark, do you recommend your coached athletes work this into their routine? Is this a once a week thing? Is this every session, maybe right before, right after, if you're down at the track? How often should we be trying this out?
I try to do it once a week. It's just a gentle reminder, and the more often you do it, the more frequently you do it over time, you'll see that you click into that feeling of that midfoot on and off quickly, light landing, light getting off of your feet sensation, almost from the first step. But it is good to get that reminder. People will do it for a couple of weeks, and then, like everything, I'll let that drill go, and then you come back a month later, like, oh, geez, I've kind of gone back to overstriding and landing on my heel, and this is a good reminder. So, super simple. Once a week, go to a track, do it in the park, on the grass in a park. It's very simple to do.